This was a bit of an unfortunate session with regards to logistics. It was a day where I wanted to get in some loaded carries, and I usually do them downstairs where the trap bars are, so just next to the squat racks. But unfortunately, that area was very packed. There wasn't really much space for me to move around much, so I took the trip with the trap bar on my back and on my shoulder rather, and I went upstairs where I could take advantage of the turf. And I've always felt like it would be a good idea for them to have a trap bar up here because the turf is the perfect space where someone can do their carries, and because they have the plates up there, it would be just great to have one of the two trap bars up here, and that would save me the trouble of taking the trap bar upstairs and then back down. But I guess that on the flip side, it was some extra carrying volume that I was putting under my belt, so it's fine. The issue wasn't as much with the carries, which I was able to get up here and actually uninterrupted, like it's usually the case when I'm downstairs, but more with the explosive pull-ups work that I wanted to get in. I usually do those downstairs, and the bars are a bit better in the sense that they're a bit taller, so there is a bit more room for me, so that my feet are not scraping the floor, and then there is nothing against in front of me basically, while the bars that are up here, they are kind of in a cluttered space where people are taking the dumbbells, and there isn't really much space in front of me where I can maybe get a bit of a swing and initiate the high pull-up in a more safe and comfortable position. What ended up happening was that I was doing some high pull-ups from basically a standstill, but a few times I was scraping my knees against the shelves where the dumbbells were. And then on the next set that I did, I actually did that on the farther side. There was a bit more space, but it wasn't great. So in the meantime, I was doing the usual supersets where I started introducing some side planks because I believe that they complement very well the work that I'm doing with the carries. So I'm kind of dedicating this day to some upper body pulling, some wrist work, and some core work from different perspectives. So one is a loaded carry, and then there is some more isometric work on both sides of the core. And definitely the big focus, maybe indirectly, is on the forearms, because between the carries and the pull-ups and the direct forearm work, they get cooked quite a lot. A good way to lessen what the load is, at least indirectly, on the forearms would be to use straps on the carries, and that's something that I'm definitely going to be doing, especially since I was going up in weight slightly from the previous time that I was doing carries. So if I can take away some of the stress on the forearms, then I can work them directly with these exercises and just pump some blood in there, make sure that they're staying supple and healthy, and they don't give me any discomfort while I'm doing stuff like handstands. And also it could all help in terms of pulling stuff. So when I'm doing pull-ups and high pull-ups, they could be less of a limiting factor, and provided that I can actually get to a bar where I'm able to wrap them out in a safer way, in a space that gives me a bit more room to maneuver, then it's all well and good. And to finish it all off, I was doing some elbow work. So I picked up an easy bar because, as I said before, this area by the squat racks was very busy and crowded, and I didn't want to start doing curls in a rack where people might actually need it to do some exercises that use the rack properly, like squats or deadlifts, all that kind of stuff. So I picked up an easy bar, and I loaded it to just under what I was doing with the barbell, and I felt it a lot in the biceps, so much so that the next day, actually a couple of days after, I was feeling a bit of that good soreness inside the bicep. There was no discomfort in the elbow tendon, so I might actually be using these as an extra variation, or maybe replace them all together for the time being. Let's see.